Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if this is your first time. This is a book review, and it's a book review of an author that's been talked about a lot on BookTube. So I would say, in my experience recently over the last 6 months to a year, this person has probably been talked about more than any other author, I think, if you look at BookTube in general. So let's go for it. So I'm talking about Percival Everett. I have now read my first Percival Everett book. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Percival Everett, and then I'm going to talk about the book. So Percival Everett was born in 1956, and he was or probably still is, a professor of English in the University of Southern California. And he has been writing for quite a long time, actually. So the book that I'm going to talk about is his 12th publication. And his 12th publication came out in 2001. And his first book came out in the 80s. So he's been writing a long time, but now a lot of people are talking about him. And he recently won the Booker Prize, and this not for this book, but he is, part of a big conversation now about current authors. But yeah, he's been going for quite a while. So as far as I know, his acclaim and success has been relatively recent in as far as big success and, big acclaim. So, Percival Everett wrote Erasure. Now, I came into contact with Erasure because of the film American Fiction. So American Fiction came out in 2023, but this book came out in 2001. So there's a big gap, and clearly the person that adapted it into the film was a guy called Cord Jefferson. He wrote and directed it. He clearly decided to make this book into a film, adapt it into the film quite recently. But it's had this other life. 2001 it came out, and I wanted to talk about the book and also reference the film as well. So I saw the film first. The film blew me away, and I kept hearing about Percival Everett, and I thought, well, actually, I'll have this as my first foray into Percival Everett. And I've got a couple more here. So I found Telephone, which is relatively recent. So I thought this might have been older, but it's not actually that old. It's still, I think it's early 2020s. And even more recently than that, I've got this out of the library. So those are two of his most recent ones. And obviously the one that he's had the Booker Prize for, the one that everyone's been talking about, is James, which I don't have. But after reading this, I definitely want to read more by him. So I was very excited to read it because of the film. I absolutely love the film. But it was a different experience reading the book, inevitably. So this is a satire about identity, about racism, about literary expectations, about personal artistic expression and ambition, and about publishing processes and publishing bias as well. So loads of those things are all wrapped up in this story that not only looks at the career of a fictional author called Thelonious Monk Ellison. So obviously, I don't know if you've read this and you are aware of why he's nicknamed Monk, but there's a very famous jazz pianist called Thelonious Monk. So his name is Thelonious Ellison, but he's nicknamed Monk, and his mum calls him Monksy. So that in general, most of the time he's referred to as Monk. So this fictional author has this. There's a spotlight on a particular thing that he's doing, which I'll get onto in a minute. But what I wanted to say was it's not just about that, because there's quite a significant chunk of this, which is about his relationships in the family. So his relationship with his mother, his relationship with his sister, and his relationship with his brother mainly. So there's also a girlfriend in this, or a partner in this, that is in it for a while. I'd say in the film there's more of an exploration of the partner. I think the girlfriend is in it more, but the relationships with the mother, the sister, and the brother are explored really well in both. And it's a really big chunk of the book. So it is a satire on publishing and about identity and about blackness, if that's the right way of saying it. But there is a huge chunk of this is about the family. So this is very cleverly putting across a very real dynamic in the family relationships. He's very different to his brother and sister, and his relationship with his mother and his father, because his father's in it quite a lot as well, even though his father has already died in the plot. But there's lots of references to the past, and there's lots of kind of flashback bits in it. So his father is explored as well, and I think it's one of the big rewarding parts of the book. It's done so well, and the relationships are so real. The dialogue is phenomenal. It's very real, and I don't know that, because what's good is that they're all flawed as well. So I'd say that even Monk is flawed as well, as far as the way the family dynamic works. So I think that's a really good thing. And basically, the plot is wrapped around the fact that he's an author that isn't getting a lot of success. He's writing book after book, and the publishing houses are telling him that he's not writing black enough. His material is not black enough. So they're clearly making a judgment on him as a writer, that because he's black, he's got to write in a certain way, and they can sell it. They can do something with it, and they think the public would like it if it was more black. So once you've got that set up, you can see the general point of the book. You can see where the book is going, but actually you don't really, because it then takes it off in this direction where the character wants to take it, which allows Ellison to really explore the audacity of that kind of expectation on an author, the ludicrous reality of telling an author that they're not creating something that fits their identity properly, and the backwards politic of it. I mean, the fact that it's very reductive, and that's the big point of the book, to reduce black writers or blackness in general to this stereotype, which is what the public want and what the publishing houses are suggesting that public want. So it's basically making a comment on the perpetuation and glamorization of this stereotype, and it's done so well. It was done brilliantly in the film as well, but it's done really well in here. And there's actually, because he's writing, well, actually, I will say something about the plot, because it won't spoil it, because it's quite early on, and it helps you to get a sense of what the book's about. He decides, he's frustrated anyway, and then he sees that there's this book that's getting loads and loads of acclaim and loads of publicity, loads of sales, which is called We Lives in the Ghetto, spelt in a kind of a colloquial way, and that's by Juanita May Jenkins, and she is writing what he is suggesting is horrifically exploitative, just the worst kind of stereotypes and the worst kind of depiction of the African American community. And he is so frustrated that he decides to write something in protest, which is exactly that. And there's a big chunk of the book, the middle part of the book, is 10 chapters of that book that he writes. That's like a parody. It's like a satire on what We Lives in the Ghetto is. So be aware of that. You know, like if you read Misery by Stephen King, then there's a big chunk of Misery, which is the book that Paul is writing. When he's trying to recover from the accident and all that. This includes a book within a book, and obviously Percival Everett and the writer character Monk is suggesting it's bad writing. So you got a big chunk of the book that's bad writing, and I think you really hit with that straight away. But actually, you get used to it, and you start being interested in the characters, and it's not like horrific. It's clearly a problem because of the depiction of the characters being so stereotypical. But it does sort of pull you in a little bit, which is quite funny because obviously you then get a sense of why these things are popular in the sense of the rhythm and the thrill of it kind of thing. But it's a very serious and important point that Percival Everett's making and that Monk is making in the book. I won't tell you what he does after that with how the plot develops because then there'll be too many spoilers and it wouldn't be fair. But that is the crux of this book. It's making a comment about the publishing industry. It's making a comment about identity and stereotypes and people or the public wanting the African American community to be a certain way that they won't. They even people that the characters in this book that believe they are being progressive are horrendous in some of the ways they're reacting to Monk in this. There's some of the best parts are when the people that think they're on the right side of history are saying the worst things in reaction to what he's saying. And I say my favorite parts of the book are the discussions with him and his agent, because I think the dynamic between those two is really great, and that worked in the film as well. That there's a lot of surprising decisions that Monk makes in reaction to what's happening, and his agent's like, "What? You want to do that? Yeah, we're going to do that. Are you sure you want to do that? Yeah, we're going to do that. Okay, let's do it." There's lots of that going on, and those scenes are brilliant. They're I think there's a real electricity in those scenes. The scenes when he's talking to the publishing houses are hilarious and also really poignant as well about the basic point the book is making. So I think those scenes are really good. And a big chunk of this book, the scenes with the family, the scenes with his mother, the scenes with his brother. And early on, I got a real strong sense of how vivid the depiction of his relationship with his sister was. I think out of all of the relationships, I feel like the dialogue was incredibly sharp with the dialogue between him and his sister. That really hit me straight away. So that is the plot. I don't think I want to tell you too much more about it. It really is a phenomenal book. I was really impressed. I'd say that it's a little bit experimental in how it puts the prose on the page, because there are some moments where it just goes off in italics, and those bits, I think, the way I interpret it, is the book that he's trying to write, that he wants to write as Monk, in amongst this other stuff that I don't want to tell you about. I might have just hinted at, I don't know, but there are some other bits of the text that are a bit jarring because there's something else going on, and you can tell he's a really good writer when he's being a good writer, when he's not showing bad writing. Really, really interesting book. Really liked it a lot, and it's definitely made me want to read more by him. It's an interesting comparison with the film as well. The film was so brilliant, and I would say actually I prefer the ending of the film. The ending of the film kind of develops the situation a little bit more. The situation that he ends up in, which he's put himself in there, but he's also been driven by a political frustration. So you do feel for him, but he has put himself in that position. And the ending of the film is much more exploratory, I'd say, whereas the ending of this is quite blunt. It works, it really works, and if the film didn't exist, you wouldn't have an alternative ending. But I do prefer the ending of the film a little bit more. But it's a small point, because the ending of this is great. I mean, it's good that it's so blunt, you do get a sense of there's a resolution and it works. But yeah, Erasure is so good. Definitely recommend it. If you haven't read anything by Percival Everett before, I didn't feel like I was losing out by having this as my first run, and he's definitely someone I want to read more about and read more of. I'm going to read those two and then get to James after that. But I want to read Huck Finn again before I read James, because I think it'll probably mean more hopefully it have more impact. But this is really good. So if you see it around, get it, read it. Let me know in the comments below if you've read it and what you thought of it. But yeah, absolutely loved it. American fiction turned into the other way around, based on the book Erasure. Both really good. Erasure is obviously the original source. Percival Everett's excellent prose, really good writing, fantastic point, beautifully vivid characters, and I think a very important read. Thank you for watching. Stay curious, everybody.
Paint me a picture of what it's like to